Hello everybody, what's up? Hope you're all doing well. We are on cozy mode today because I am reading reviewer letters and so I need to be as cozy as I can be. So, today we are going to talk about what papers should you publish in lower tier journals. Okay. So, what are lower tier journals? Lower journals can basically be divided in how difficult and I would say how rigorous the review process is. Okay, so the highest ranking, highest tier journals have more rigorous and difficult review processes. Lower tier journals less so. Okay, and if you're running a lower tier journal, I mean, this doesn't mean that the articles are worse, that there is some bad science going on, but just that something that would be a limitation in a higher tier journal is not a limitation in your journal. So, for example, the amount of data that a paper has or the level of novelty of the contribution. In a lower tier journal, the contribution can be solid and tightly linked with data. It's just not as novel and as challenging to exist in literature as a contribution in a top tier journal. Okay. In some countries like the UK and France, journals are arranged on a formal list with multiple tiers. So right now everybody's using the ABS list that has 4 tiers, with 4 being the best, 1 the worst. When I was in the US, we spoke a lot about A journals, B journals, and the rest. A journals are, your very top journals in the field, so your top 5 journals in the field. B journals are very good journals, but that are just below that. And then everything else is, things you don't worry about and you don't publish. Okay, so that's the tiers. Now, why does this matter? Why does the tier where you publish matter? Well, it matters because of signaling. If you publish a lot of papers in category 1 journals, or if you only publish papers in category 1 journals, in the top journals, in A journals, you're signaling, you're building an image of somebody who is very high level scholar that can craft powerful contributions and draw upon compelling data when doing so. If you're publishing on category C journals, then you're basically signaling that you cannot publish in category 1 journals because otherwise you'd be publishing in category 1 journals. Okay, so when I was doing my PhD at MIT, we're actually told not to publish below. It's better not to publish anything than to publish in a C journal and sometimes even in a B journal. You're better off not publishing anything because otherwise your CV will be polluted with C journal publications. Okay, so that's the problem. It's a signaling problem. What kind of academic are you? Are you somebody who is at the top of their game and publishes consistently very good research, or are you somebody who is publishing, bad, weak research? And then occasionally you may get a hit, right? So that's what you want. Now, obviously, the job market is stratified. So if you are at Harvard or MIT or Stanford and so on, Cornell, you definitely don't want to be publishing down in C and eventually B journals because it won't count. So you're just wasting your time, right? You're better off just be collecting data for top journal publication because it literally not only will it count 0, but it can actually count negatively against you. In the rest of the world, things are a little bit different. In the rest of the world, Category 2 and Category 3, so B and C journals, count, okay? And so most of us, and myself included, will publish in lower tier journals, so Category 2 journals in the ABS list, right? Now, the question is, how can you publish in a Category 2 journal in the ABS list, so a C journal, without signaling that you are a bad academic, okay? Well, there are two ways that I think you can pull this off. First is if you publish weak but very, very cool data, okay? So it's not publishing weak data, it's publishing weak but very cool data. So, for example, I have a paper published in a Category 2 journal, so a C journal, that is the data from my master's thesis, okay? That is weak data because it's from master's thesis. I did like 10 hours of observation, and it's not very interesting, okay? It's not really compelling data. Okay? I also have a paper that I published recently in a C journal, in a Category 2 journal, that has interviews with maestros of amateur choirs of retired people, and those data are delicious to read. So that's weak data as well. They also come from master's students from a thesis, but the data are really interesting and compelling. There are just not a lot of them, okay? So you want to publish this latter type of paper, the maestros, the weak but compelling data, cool stories to read, cool quotes to read. You do not want to publish my master's thesis data, which is weak data as well, because it's a master's thesis, but also not super compelling. It's from an innovation project, okay? So that's the first type of article that you want to publish in lower tier journals. The second type of article that you want to publish in lower tier journals are articles where you're helping out other people, okay? So, you know, I published an article in a Category 2 journal, a C journal this year, where my two co-authors needed help, working around some challenges. This was a literature review, with a literature review, okay? So there, I'm at the end of the author list because obviously I did less of the work, but there, as a senior scholar, I can say, look, I came in to help and develop other people. As far as I'm concerned, this is where you these are the only two papers that you should publish. Everything else, so should you bother or not with publish everything else in a C journal or a Category 2 in the ABS list? I would say that if you need to, and this has happened to me as well, that there were some years where I got unlucky or I wasn't good enough with revise and resubmits. So there are a few years where I just needed things to fill up the pipeline at work. So definitely there, do it, right? If you need to, but really, really avoid publishing anything very low unless you need to, unless you're helping junior scholars, or unless your data is super cool, weak but super cool. Okay, so that's it. Hopefully this makes sense to you. Again, the idea is that it's not to be elitist, it's just to help you think about, if you need to publish a paper in a weaker journal, in a smaller journal, what should you publish? What should you do? Okay, and for example, a good idea is to look at the master student's thesis that you're supervising and picking up one that as cool data. They will all have weak data. What I will actually say is that if you have one with very good data but boring and the good data but cool, I'll just go for the good data but cool. Because, quantity matters to publish, especially qualitative data. Quantity matters. So even with very good data, it probably won't be enough to publish in a top journal. So you're just better off publishing like cooler data. Also because cooler data tends to be more cited. Okay, so hope this was helpful. Wish you good luck in all of your writing projects, and I'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Bye.